Welcome to Time Sync, the weekly podcast to let you know what's worth sinking your time into. I'm your host, Sauce, and we're back, baby. 2020 is dead. 2021 is here. We made it. It's going to be a great year. First episode of the year. You guys ready? I'm joined this week by Mr. Hummer.
Whoa. Up.
And Brad.
Hi, friends. Welcome to 2021. I'm here in 2021, and I've been told my intros suck. I'm salty.
We were told we were dragging our feet too much, so just had to drag it out.
Salt Bay.
I specifically asked you to keep the intro quick and punchy. And this is 2021. Welcome, everybody. We got a great episode for you this week.
We got Dr. Dre in the hospital.
Oh, my God. This week, we're going to talk about Bridgerton. Hummer got a PS4. Death to 2020. Hades. Cobra Kai Season 3. Attack on Titan. And the history of swear words. So stick around because we got a great show. But before we get into all that, I did want to mention I did redesign our website, timesyncpod.com. Go there, check it out. You can talk to us. You got all of our social medias in one place, all of our audio episodes, video episodes. It's the general hub for everything. And it would really help us out if you let us know what you're thinking, what you want us to check out, and help us grow our podcast. Leave us a review. The link's there to Apple Podcasts. I've been using Podchaser to try to build the podcast. So check out timesyncpod.com. So you can get more of this terrible content where Hummer and Brad try to ruin everything that I do.
That's my game.
I got one issue with the website is I don't see any pictures of Margaret Robbie on there.
You're bringing this up now on the day of recording. Yeah, on the day of my daughter's wedding.
My day of my daughter's recording. Yeah, I can fix that. I'll put her as your profile photo if you want.
Little Photoshop. You guys have been friends for years.
It'll be a horribly Photoshop picture of Homer.
Solid deep fake, like Mandalorian level Luke Skywalker deep fake. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh God, that's a good one though.
That was awesome.
I think we can argue that the quality of that deep fake for probably hours.
Okay, wait, no, because there's an actual.
The internet surely is.
Yeah, okay, I'm not going to get into it. So, Hummer, what are we talking about today?
Dude, it's a weird one. I'm just gonna start off with the best. All right, my brother-in-law secured a PS5, and he was talking to me about it, and I was like, "So, what are you gonna do with your PS4?" And he goes, "Well, I was gonna ask my dad if he wanted it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "Well, if he doesn't want it, you can have it." So then I called his dad. I was like, "Dad, tell me about your PlayStation playing habits." "Oh, I don't really want it." So long story short, he gave me the PS4. Super pumped because he also left his account logged in for PlayStation Now, where he had Last of Us Remastered and Last of Us 2 already purchased. So I don't have to spend extra money on these two games. So I've been just digging into Last of Us, and so far, the hype that you guys gave it's living up to it very much. It's awesome.
I'm so happy for you.
So far, all I heard was you didn't choose to donate said console to a children's hospital.
I didn't.
Wow. Selfish.
I did give
I'm also expecting a secondhand PS4 to come into my possession in the near future. So,
So on a show for all the new things coming out, and if you want to know you should play it or not, doesn't matter. We're going back to PS4.
Time is irrelevant.
Honestly, it was a great way to get a hold of a system that can play some of these games that I can't play that are new. I can't play Miles Morales because I don't have a PS5. I never had a PS4. So I'm excited about it. I do get to play some of these newer games. And I'm playing in 1080p anyway, so it's not like I care really to get a PS5 now that I have this sweet PS4. And then I did donate my Xbox One, though.
Oh, oh,
I donated to my cousins.
oh! That's not they're not sick.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They might be
Dude,
sick though. They might be like,
they have 4 kids. I think
oh,
they might have another one on the way. So I hooked them up with 2 controllers. Hooked them up with probably like
Wait. They got 4 kids and they got another one on the way.
yeah.
Oh my god.
1, 2, 3.
Bastards. Oh my god.
And then we hooked them up with some games. We gave basically I gave them anything that was backwards compatible with a 360 on it. So that's going to be fun for them. And I was like, make sure you go through. Some of these games are pretty violent. It's up to you if you want your kids to play them. Completely up to you. I mean, you talked about it. We're talking about stuff, but seriously, getting a secondhand PS4, I was pumped because it gives me the opportunity to play games that you guys have all talked about. You know, whether it's The Last of Us, the first one, but then I get to play Last of Us 2, the new Spider-Man, God of War. For all those are still going to be new games to me. And I think for a lot of people, if you're on the Xbox platform and you don't have a PlayStation, this is a great way. It's pretty inexpensive, especially if you can cop one for free. But even if you go to the secondhand market, you know, there's going to be a lot lower cost. But honestly, I'm seeing the performance of the games is fine so far. I haven't seen any issues that makes me think like, wow, I really do need to grab a PS5 because I'm playing on a 1080p monitor anyway.
You know, the PS4s are actually kind of hard to come by right now too. I was at GameStop. I was trading out my Switch for the newer Switch because it has a better battery life, and my battery was kind of crapping out. And people just kept coming in asking for PlayStations, and they just have been out for a while. So it's like still hard to get a 4. They can't get a 5 or a 4 right now, at least here in Ohio.
I've heard the same thing. Plus, just, you know, the influx of people who couldn't get the PS5 getting the PS4, whether it's a first-time console for younger kids or it's just like getting what you can get because you have the money set aside to get something and you want PlayStation over Xbox. So I've heard a lot of that same situation from people, I guess. But I if I get my hands on a secondhand PS4 like I'm hoping to in the near future, I'm excited to get my hands on Horizon Zero Dawn. That's one that I really want to play.
Look at Hummer. Okay, check. I got it all right here, and you got to play all these games, and I'm so excited for you.
Look at this! Look at this! Look at this!
Look at this! Look at this! Miles Morales is still on PS4, so you can play that. You got Last of Us, Spider-Man. And
those. If I get my PS4, those games aren't leaving Ohio until I play them.
You got to do Uncharted 4, but you got to
have
go
hard copies.
Nathan Drake Collection, because it's got 1 through 3, and then you got to do Uncharted 4. And
before the Tom Holland movie comes out, right?
God of War, that one's a must-play too. And one of my probably favorites out of all of them, like Brad said, Horizon Zero Dawn. I have nothing but bangers for my PlayStation since I got it so late in life. So, and now you get to do it too. I'm so happy for you.
I'm so excited. And
can you not hide it?
It put basically a stoppage to playing Cyberpunk. It put a stoppage to playing Valhalla. I think I'm actually more excited about my PS4 than I am about my Xbox Series X.
Look, the stopping of Cyberpunk, I get. I have finished the game, main storyline, and a heavy portion of the side quest in, I think it was like 65 hours total. And like diving more into that game, you're just starting to notice how much stuff they cut at the end, how much underdeveloped stuff there is, how much that they left, just decided to walk away from. And like, I mean, the more you dive into it, it might be just a complete flop at some point because of how much stuff they backtracked and walked away from because they needed to get it out on time, I guess. This game should have been delayed another 2 years, probably. Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I agree. I stopped playing it because I wasn't having fun anymore.
That's what it is. I'm having trouble getting it, but I'm having trouble getting back into it. That's the thing. It's like, okay, like the hacking isn't that cool.
and you're expected to have a full DLC sometime in the next 2 or 3 months. I expect, right? And like the console still haven't seen the 4th patch. I think it is. We've had 2 or 3 patches on console. PC's been patched 4 times, I think, from what I read. And like just people diving into coding and seeing how much content was cut, a fast travel rail system, multiple romance storylines. So much stuff was cut near the end. It's worse than Grand Theft Auto stuff. It's worse than Skyrim stuff that was cut. Like it's a lot. It's kind of depressing.
So Hummer, you by playing PlayStation actually are making a really good case why people shouldn't waste their time on Cyberpunk. You're gonna have more fun and enjoyment playing all those PlayStation bangers that are from PS4 last gen than this new game that just came out that's supposed to be the bridge to the new gen. Like all those games are better than Cyberpunk.
Yeah, and like not for nothing too, like Cyberpunk on PC, like the glitches and everything haven't been near as bad as what you're hearing about on the consoles.
And the core of the game is still like there's pedestals that it stands on where the game could be so good. It's just not done. It's just not done.
And that's what it really does feel like. They're missing out on so much. Like, so you're talking about like the patches and stuff. Before one of the patches came out, I'm sitting there looking like what, like my PC should not really be struggling to run this game the way it was. And I literally had to go in there and like tinker with hex codes. I don't know what a hex code is. Like I can be blowing up my computer for all I know. But like this is what they're telling you have to do. And it was the basically the fix was, and just to kind of briefly go over this technical babble bullshit for it, they didn't optimize the code to determine whether you were running an AMD or an Intel processor. That was it. That's all it was. And apparently it was one number that you had to switch in the code. That's how lazy it was. And that's what they had to patch.
That's bad.
I'm just saying, like, it's a shame that you even have to do that. Like, it's that if you want this game to run right, you had to go and basically patch it yourself. That's embarrassing, I think, on the part of Project 3D, Project Red. And does it? But they're getting ready to come out with a new Witcher game, right? Does that put pause?
Really early production, though. They're probably still like 6 years out on that.
They're 6 years out.
Are we sure 6 is
announced the delay?
Yeah. Are we already including delays in there, or is this a hard 6?
Literally nothing has been announced other than they're working on it. I assume it's very early in production. And they're going to try, like, they're really worried about their reputation right now. And so I think they're going to sit on Cyberpunk and try to fix it for a while. And, I mean, it's a company that always talks about not overworking their staff. And they have they're very highly regarded in the industry amongst, like, the work groups and, like, how they're treated. And they really didn't force overtime until these last couple of delays and push deadlines and stuff as a hard thing. So I really think they're going to sit back and try to fix what they've done before they progress into their next things.
Yeah, Cyberpunk blows. I don't want to spend any more time on it. So Hummer, I want to know about Bridgerton. I'm excited to hear your take and what you think about Bridgerton.
So Chris Van Dusen, the creator, also created my wife's favorite one of my wife's favorite show, Grey's Anatomy.
Oh no, that's my wife's favorite show. Garbage show.
So you will be watching Bridgerton.
Oh God, she doesn't know about it yet.
Amanda,
what's it about? Is it good? Is it worth your time?
It is worth your time. I am enjoying it so far. I'm the one who actually brought it to my wife. I was like, yeah, I heard about it. It was Netflix #1 show before it got knocked off by the show we'll talk about next, which is Cobra Kai. It's basically just kind of like basically set in Victorian era England, and it's just about, wealthy families, the process of going through and getting married, but then the drama behind it. It's hard to make it sound cool, to be honest, because it's without giving away any of the actual plot points. But it's just the drama. It's all it is. And if you're looking at it from like, there's a subtle hints of comedy that you can pick up in it, just like the way the characters are. It's almost like in a sense like a Queen's Gambit type of humor, or like when you see those kind of funny moments, like you see how she's acting and you find that funny because it's like, oh, that was genius, that was witty, or that was quick, but it's not like a comedy where you're like, ha 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 ha, Will Ferrell, you're so funny. But the actors so far in are pretty good. We're only into 2 episodes, and like we seriously now can't get enough of it. So we're really excited to see where it takes us in the binge this one. The only thing that sucks about it is Margaret Robbie's not in it.
Wait, hold on. So do you like Grey's Anatomy? Do you like it?
I've never really watched it. I've seen some episodes here and there. It's nothing that it's like caught my attention and wanted me to go back to it.
Okay.
When my wife has it on, that's usually when I head into the office to play video games.
So it's not like that then?
No.
Okay.
The only thing that they did steal from that, and this part's pretty cool, is they take some modern songs. You know how like in Victorian era England, there's always like Mozart and stuff, like orchestra. They actually play modern songs in the background of these like balls and dance parties, which is pretty cool.
Like in A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger.
They're playing like Ariana Grande, and it takes you a while. You're like, I've heard this song before. Where have I heard this song? And all of a sudden, you're like,
Obviously, it's Victorian era Ariana Grande.
That was her best period. I love when they do that in Westworld. They like remix classic music, so it's like the opposite. They're taking classic
and make them that vaudeville piano.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, should I check out Bridgerton?
I think you should. I think you'll, maybe who knows? If your wife loves it, maybe you'll end up with more kids.
I'm okay on that.
I mean, there is lots of like sexual undertones to it too.
Sex,
nudity.
That's a sexual overtone.
Oh,
a girl laying naked in a naked dude's lap.
And is that enjoyable for you?
Yeah, I love it when naked girls, my wife in particular, lays on my lap.
I'm not interested in that kind of content.
Lowbrow.
My wife.
Lowbrow.
Unsubscribe.
No, I mean it's a solid 3. I haven't seen the ending, so I've only two episodes in, so I can't give you a whole review on the series as a whole. But I'd say it's definitely worth starting and checking it out. And right now, I don't, other than Cobra Kai, which I'm assuming we're all on agreement that that's going to be the one that you drop everything you're doing and go watch it, right? I'm skipping too far ahead. Put it this way, I'm going to finish Cobra Kai before I finish this.
For sure. All right, so I watched a lot of stuff over our break for Christmas, New Year's. I had a couple days off.
Prove it.
I'm not gonna go into I want to save some stuff, but one thing I want to mention today because it's still relevant is I've been watching a lot of documentaries on Netflix, but there's a good mockumentary called Death to 2020. It's got a lot of famous people in it, but they're all playing fictional characters. But like Sam Jackson is playing like a news reporter, but he's pretty much just playing Sam Jackson with a different name. So but all the other characters, they're playing like fake historians and fake news reporters, fake press secretary for the White House, Lisa Kudrow's that one's great. And they're recapping real events from 2020 just with a hilarious caricature take on it. But they're basically just making fun of all the terrible things in 2020 and the terrible people that were featured in season 2020. So basically, making fun of the Trump administration a lot. So if you like that, and it's pretty funny, you will enjoy Death to 2020.
Well, if you're looking to make fun of the Trump administration, here's some. We never break news on this podcast. Georgia Senate races have been called.
Oh, really?
Let's not go into that. Let's save that for at CNBC.
We'll save it for the Patreon feed. Our
Well,
Patreon, our other
I
Patreon
think Mitch
feed is a
McConnell,
politics podcast.
Mitch McConnell might be shitting his pants right now.
He's
Well,
old, so I expect that a lot.
He's probably doing that anyway. There's a turtle shell. Yeah. So Death to 2020. Finally, it's over, and the documentary. So this is interesting because I'm going to give it a score. I just heard myself. I'm going to give it a score, but it's 100% relative on like you watching it ASAP, because as the month progresses and into next month, it's going to become less and less relevant. So we just want to put 2020 behind us. But as a nice palate cleanser for the horrible year of 2020, I would put it at the top of your list. It's a 4 bordering on a 5. The only thing that's factoring up that score is the fact that you need to watch it now because 2020 just ended. I don't think it's going to be funny next year.
Do it now.
It's gonna be funny forever.
Yeah, look, you're right. It's timeless.
I want to
wife
put it
made
in
this
a time
comment.
capsule. Watch it in 50 years. That's so I can.
In like
Remember
10
that,
years
yeah?
from now, 10 years from now, frat parties are going to be having 2020 parties where they just all show up in their sweatpants and like, you know,
Gray sweatpants.
And
or
give
like
each other
they're
diseases.
going to show up in a button-up shirt with just underwear on, you know? That's what they're going to show up at the frat houses too.
That sounds
2020
pretty
parties.
funny. Now I want to do that now. I actually just want to go to any party, really. Yeah, so Death to 2020, you will enjoy. Definitely.
I've got a party you can
Four.
go to. I got a party you can go to.
Oh my God. Brad.
What kind of party?
It's in my pants.
You got a pants party?
You got a pants party going on. Let's
Do
go.
you have popsicles there? Are there going to be popsicles?
Only if you bring them. It's bring your own popsicle.
I'm starting another separate podcast from this one. It's only highbrow humor.
You guys like popsicles? Like a lot of popsicles. You should come down to my cellar.
I hate all of this so much. Where's Tito at?
We
Anyway,
need Tito here because he has no sense of humor.
yeah, he's our straight man. That's why this whole thing's out of whack. We don't have a straight man to like play off of, which is ironic. Never mind. So moving on, Death to 2020. Check it out. It's 4, but that score is going to go down as the year progresses. Hades. Tito mentioned this game as one of his game of the years last episode, but I spent a lot of time with it over the break, which really says a lot about Cyberpunk, because I have not finished Cyberpunk, and I tried out Hades because it's a Nintendo Switch game. I think it's on PC. I didn't look. I think
is. Yeah.
it's on PC. As I mentioned, I got a new Switch, so I wanted to play with it. I had more fun playing this simple $25 indie game than I was having playing Cyberpunk, because video games, when it comes to the core of them, you are either experiencing a story or learning about the world you're in, learning about the characters. But at the end of the day, you're playing a game. And so that action of maybe like if you're playing Halo, you're shooting stuff, moving on, killing, Call of Duty, you're killing, moving on. Or if you're playing Super Mario, you're jumping over blocks, hitting blocks. That's called the gameplay loop, the whatever you're doing. So the gameplay loop in Cyberpunk is just not balanced and not fun, because I'm going in, I'm using the same gun I found in the beginning that was the highest strength and just killing everyone. There's no point in trying to sneak around and do anything. But anyway, Hades, back to Hades. Hades is a roguelike. Which, do you guys know what roguelikes are?
Oh, yeah. Some would say I'm roguelike.
Okay.
Not many, but some.
Please do explain.
So a roguelike type video game is a game where it's different every playthrough. So whatever you're doing isn't going to be the same the next time you die and run through it. But it's cool because basically the theme is Greek gods. You're trying to escape hell, escape Hades. And so every level you move through, if you die, you gotta go back to the beginning. but everything you earned and all the power-ups you got are gone, except for you gather other materials to power up like your overall stats. So every run you get a little bit stronger, you unlock more things every run you to use in the next runs, you unlock more story. So it really rewards you with that gameplay loop of, you know, I'm going to play for a half hour before I go to bed. I'm going to have fun actually, because the story is not fed to you like The Last of Us, which is amazing. It's just the gameplay. And it's a video game and it's fun. It's almost, to me, it's like a perfect roguelike. Come in, sit down, play through, have a good time. I also felt that with Spelunky. I'm enjoying this a little bit more than Spelunky because it has a little bit more story and way more action. Spelunky is more platforming. But yeah, if you have a Switch or if you play on PC and check out the trailer and see if this is your type of game, it's a fantastic roguelike. This game, I'm having so much fun with it, especially because on the Switch, I can play on my TV, I can play in bed, wherever. That also helps too. But I'm going to give Hades a 5 out of 5. 100% put it at the top of your list of games to play. It's only $25, you know? Try it out.
So Hades did make a lot of lists as the top game of the year. So without playing it, I because of how high it was spoken of, for the things you already said, I definitely believe you when it's up there. Now, I don't have a Switch, so it's not something I'm going to play at the time, but it does sound like it's set a bar for, because when you talk roguelike, it really reminds me of platformers. So I think this is kind of like a new bar for where platforming style will climb from. And I mean, if the game's as good as everyone says it is, that's great news for that genre of game and platforms and roguelikes.
Yeah, the other one that was really good that like set the bar before Hades was The Binding of Isaac, which sucks because it's a fantastic, like it's an amazing roguelike. The gameplay is awesome. It's just like the theme, like the imagery, the iconography in the game is so disgusting. Like I don't want to play it. Like you're fighting aborted fetuses and like your poop. It's cartoony, so it's not like super disgusting, but like it's still that material, so it's not. It definitely takes away from it.
Say aborted fetuses, like
that's one of the bosses in the game.
Yeah, it's for the same reason the Five Nights at Freddy games had a very niche like group of people that wanted to play them, but
I like those games.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but like when you take a style like that, that's not generalized for everybody. You're only going to keep a niche group of gamers, you know, when you don't do something broad that can appeal to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and Hades doesn't have that problem. Although this is a tiny spoiler, so if you haven't gotten to the final boss yet, Tito, because you need to get good, skip ahead a minute. But I finally fought my way to the final boss. I got him down. I've got like 2 hit points left. I took him down, you know, he's giving his final death monologue, and then all of a sudden he hit me with, "This isn't even my final form," and then his health bar filled back up, and I was like, no! So I still haven't beat it. But I'm gonna. Hate when that happens.
You mean you hate how much you love when that happens?
No, I hate when that happens. I thought I finally beat him. No. No. Okay, whatever. I'm done talking. Go ahead, Brad.
So just like you, man, I had a lot of free time over the last like little bit of the year, and I watched a bunch of stuff. So I'll save a lot of it, but I wanted to talk about a few things. The first one being I had to do drop a new anime segment on us. I think I'm the only one that really hits anime. So we are currently in the 4th and final season of an anime that I think by the end of it will be on the top, if not near the top of one of the best animes of all time. And that show is Attack on Titan. Again, 4th and final season. We're about 4 episodes in on the simulcast from Japan, which means the fully subtitled version. Guys, I cannot stress just how good this show is. It's a deep dive into so many themes of like inequality and totalitarianism governments and racism, when you really like sit down and think about what they're doing and get beyond the gruesome action of the show, especially throughout like the first, like this fourth season has been a little slow to start, but that's because at the end of the third season, they took the veil off our eyes and showed us the entire world outside of the world that we had been presented. And now we're getting an entire new scope on what the world actually looks like within the show. So they've had to do another full season of exposition, basically, from a point of view we had no idea existed. So you can save it being a little slow at the beginning because we're world building, and it is amazing the content that they're going into and kind of like the themes that they're drawing out of just an anime that started out as watching giant humanoid monsters brutally eat people, like to a point where it was disturbing to watch people being eaten. And there was no regard for character development in the sense where at any point someone was gonna get eaten. Like characters that you thought they were setting up for arcs and things, nope, eaten all the time. Just nom 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 nom. Nuts for what it felt like no purpose over the first two seasons of the show. And then in the third season, you see this whole political just craziness that is just so eye-opening on so many levels, not just within the show, but if you apply it to a reality and to where you draw this information from is just absolutely insane. And they definitely even get flack because of the way that they're presenting these kind of fascist governments that are within the universe that we're within. And like you can think of it that way, or you can think of, yeah, we're shining a light on how fucked up fascist totalitarianism, military dictatorship governments are. Like who would think that
not to 70 million Americans.
Who would think that just some anime that felt unreasonably violent when it first came out would go into all these themes and really bring all this up in any way, shape, or form? It's not like they're coming out and telling you it's bad, but they're showing to you what it's like and why it's bad, but just because of how it exists and what it does and the nationalism it creates and the racism it creates. And just, it's so cool when you really think about it and dive into it. Like, and I'm telling you, as long as it doesn't take a Game of Thronesian fall in the last season that we're getting right now, it'll be on a pedestal of one of the best animes of all time. The show's a 5. You've got, if you can't watch subtitled animes, you've got 3 seasons at least right now that are fully dubbed or subbed, and then we're in our 4th and final season right now. This is a must check out for old anime watchers, new anime watchers. It is an absolutely fantastic show, guys. Like, gotta see it. It's incredible.
Did you ever wait? What's it on? Netflix?
So I watch it on Hulu right now because Hulu does this. We'll do the simulcast from Japan, which means that when a new episode comes out, we'll get it usually like a day later. But right now, like I said, if you watch the dub seasons, you're going to be waiting a little while longer for the episodes to be dubbed. Right now, we're just getting the subtitled episodes. Usually they drop on like a Sunday, like I think it's like every other Sunday, something like that. But yeah, like it's honestly, simulcast anime is one of the main reasons I kept Hulu around. They do a great job of providing new animes all the time. Like for you, Sauce, I'm watching a 2019 version of Lupin the Third.
Yeah.
I can tell you all about it when I'm finished. It's like 50 episodes though, so when I get through it, I'm going to tell you all about it.
I'm not a big anime guy, but I did like Lupin the Third, and I did watch the live action of Attack on Titan.
They weren't great.
It's fucked up.
But it's messed up, yeah. Like they do a good job of like hitting some of the more messed up, like brutal parts. But you got to remember, just like a lot of these animes that they've made live action recently, they're Japanese studios, Japanese budgets, so they don't have Hollywood level quality to them, and with the amount of stuff that they do in anime, there's a reason why they make these shows as anime and cartoon rather than live action because of the limitation of people. You know, as much as we would love to see a real awesome live action Dragon Ball Z, really think about how hard it is to do that. Like to animate fight choreography that is supposed to be so fast the human eye can't see it. You know, like it is going to be a real challenge when somebody finally takes on that challenge, I guess, to try to do that at a Hollywood level.
Sure. Actually, I've had this rant. I'm not going to go into it right now, but I've made this rant like plenty of times, like the evolution of action movies, where it started off back in the day. Cowboys were the heroes, and then eventually, they could mimic that because I mean, sure they'd be doing cool stunts on horseback, and the stunt guys could do that, and then it turned into like the action, like war hero was like the action movie star of the time, and then eventually it got to like the big muscly dudes and like Commando Predator, those types of movies, Schwarzenegger, Stallone style action movie stars, and then we get Die Hard. But now it's gotten to the point where the practical effects that they were filming then have evolved so much that they can do more and more ridiculous shit. Like the stuff that John McClane does in Die Hard 1 versus like taking down a helicopter or whatever in the last, like first in Die Hard.
Taking down a helicopter with launching a motorcycle at it.
Yeah, it gets more and more ridiculous that it's so unbelievable. Especially like in the first movie, he has to save the building, but in the second movie, he has to save the city, but in the third movie, he has to save the state, and then he has to save the country.
I don't see anything wrong with any of this.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with it.
It's called escalation.
But it's becoming more and more and more unbelievable to see these action heroes do this stuff, and that's why we're in the golden age of superhero movies right now. Because John McClane can't do this crazy stuff, but Spider-Man can, and Iron Man can, and like that's why it's so popular right now. Because
is John Wick a superhero? Then is he approaching superhero territory?
He is an anti-hero because he's arguably not a good person. He's murdering a lot of people.
They all deserve it, though.
That's true.
They killed his dog. They brought this upon themselves.
It's that's a spy thriller. It is an action movie, and
I'm just talking about more in the feats that John Wick pulls off. And you're talking about like, well, you got to save a building, you got to save a city. Well, now you got to kill every bad guy in the world.
He rarely, while it's improbable that a human could do a lot of the things John Wick does, they ground it enough. Then you could see that because it's built by a team that has been doing stunt work for the last 30 years. So everything still feels grounded.
But back to Brad's, what he was saying and what my ultimate point was, is the next evolution of action movies on what we're going to like, because now we're going to get oversaturated with superhero stuff and we're going to get bored with it. And like the suspension of disbelief is going to be gone. Next is video games. Mark my words, the next big wave of movies that everybody's going to get into, the next big Marvel and DC is going to be video game movies once they do it right.
I was just saying, I definitely think you've seen pokes at it over the years. But yeah, I definitely think you're not wrong, especially as the scope of storytelling through video game continues to grow as well. They're going to be seen as good content to be made into movies. I mean, because that's the real thing with Hollywood is they don't, unless it's a drama, they're not creating original content. They're borrowing content from other places and turning it into feature films. Like that's been no secret for a long time.
You wait. Video game movies are going to be the hot new thing in the next 10 years.
We'll see how Tom Holland's Uncharted movie does, I guess.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm nervous. But Neil Druckmann, who Hummer will come to know and love as he plays through The Last of Us 1 and 2 and then plays through Uncharted, will realize Neil Druckmann's a genius, and then he's attached to the Last of Us TV series for HBO, and he's attached for the Uncharted movie. So you'll find out, Hummer. But moving on here, Brad.
Oh, no, I wanted to hit one more before we move into Cobra Kai.
No, that's what I was going to say. What the
I
hell
watched,
is History of Swear Words?
Yeah, so something popped up on my Netflix the other day. It's a 2021 release, so it's brand new. It's a very short docu-series over the like etymology and lexicography of swear words, which is definitely nothing new. You can see tons of internet videos on this stuff. It's just a highly produced one. Nicolas Cage is the host, so you get funny little quips of Nicolas Cage. They do lots of interviews with like comedians and celebrities about curse words. The opening episode, which is the one I suggest everyone watch if they don't want to watch the rest of it, is about the word fuck. And I love fuck is my favorite word. It's the best word. And they explain why it's such a great word through that first episode. It truly is like, and I don't know, for me personally, learning the history and the like why something exists sometimes is really interesting, especially if it's a quick hitter. All these episodes are pretty short. They go over the history of words, how words have changed over the years, different events about the words and things like that. I know there's one for fuck, there's one for damn, there's one for pussy, there's one for shit. And like I said, they're just all really quick, and you get some comedians you're going to recognize, some Nicolas Cage.
What was that? What was that, Hunter?
Do not listen to this podcast with your kids.
That's general.
Has anybody been doing that? Mistake.
I do.
But it was like, I'm only going to give it on our rating scale of 2 because it's not something you need to like go out and find. But if you're like looking to throw something on in the background while you're working on something else because it's like informational and documentary style in a sense, it's always fun to hear information over something irreverent, I guess I would say. And they do bring on psychologists and etymologists and lexicographers to kind of go more into the actual depth of these words. And then you get, like I said, these side interviews from comedians and celebrities about their experience with the words, their love of these words, or their knowledge of these words. And it was just a fun little watch that I burned through while I was like working on something else on my laptop. So definitely, and like I said, brand new. I think it just dropped like yesterday. So yesterday being Monday, it's Tuesday currently of 2021.
You're listening to this on a Thursday.
So, someday in July or January, whatever. Time is irrelevant. But yeah, don't go out and search for it. Like you don't get to seek for it.
You're just all living in it.
But if you're looking for just a little bit of information on curse words because you love them like I do, and you want the normalization of curse words out there, this is for you. Normalize cursing.
I hate cursing all the time. I only like to sprinkle it in when necessary.
That's because you have kids, though, so you have to like.
No, I never have been someone who curses all the time.
You're from Ohio, so that's really hard for me to
lie
believe.
to me.
We're well known as the state that loves the word fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big cursor unless necessary or to really bring home a point.
My favorite use of curse words are bringing home points.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't need the derogatory use of them, but the way they blow up other parts of words and phrases is what I'm gonna
amplify.
They slap, bro. They fucking slap.
Although my favorite way to use the F word is to describe how awesome someone is, and when you say it, like Hummer, this guy fucks.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Fucks hard.
And like learning why that's applicable and how that's applicable is just something this little documentary series is going to give you. Because I'm not someone who likes to use words without somewhat understanding them. And now I have a little deeper understanding. And I appreciate that.
All right. Well, speaking of things that fuck, quit! We're going to talk about Cobra Kai. Season 3.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah, well, my kids are sleeping. I can't yell. What do you want from me?
Quiet!
I want you to wake your fucking kids up.
Tell them to be quiet!
Wake up, samurai. You got podcasts to record. Daddy, it's That time. Anyway, Hummer, how far are you into season 3?
Let's check Netflix real quick.
Okay, I've
Not
finished it.
far enough.
Brad
I
finished
think
it in
I
one day.
am I'm on episode 3.
Okay, so you're not very far in. So
No,
no
I've been savoring
spoilers.
it. I'm savoring it.
We don't do spoilers anyway. I did feel like I should have savored it. Like I kind of regret not watching it like one a week or something because I burned it. Brad burned it in one day. I burned it in 2 days, and now I gotta wait. I don't know, probably a whole year before I can watch more.
I'm okay with that.
So what do you think, Brad? Give me your hot takes.
I mean, I think the season stands on par with the others. I don't think it was any better or worse. I definitely think that the storylines of the adults are better than the storylines of the kids.
Yeah.
They really felt like they had to find excuses for the kids to fight, which and all of their like big group fight sequences felt really forced, and like they were definitely the most ridiculous and worst scenes of the season, in my opinion. And we're definitely, I mean, you're there in some sense for the karate. So that is a little disappointing. I missed Scorpion. Where was Scorpion at? I know the Aisha girl was gone, and they had some like early before the season came out. They had some like things going on with why she was gone, and there was all sorts of little behind the scenes stuff with that. But I don't care about that. The Scorpion was gone, bro. He went from a character that they introduced, and I was like, oh, that's going to be the jump the shark character, to being like, oh, wait, he's awesome. Pretty quickly.
Wait, are you talking about Stingray?
Stingray, there he is.
Okay, I was gonna say
it was something like that. What does it matter?
It's because the
Johnny, your name's
Stingray lies in wait for the moment to strike.
I wonder if they're gonna bring him back. We'll see if they do that in the 4th season. It kind of felt like they kind of
lying in
talked.
wait, man. He's just.
I felt like they kind of talked him out of that when they were kind of going over the remnants of the school fight, where they were like, he's gone and Aisha's gone, and it's fine. I think that the best episodes were in mid-season when Daniel went to Hawaii. And I thought it was so weird because you very easily could argue the movie Karate Kid 2 that those episodes were preying on is probably the worst of the Karate Kid movies if you don't count the one 4 with the girl from I can't think of her name.
The next Karate Kid.
It's no, she's in the episode of The Office. She's the hot or not girl one that they're talking about. It's
Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank, yeah. That one obviously very not good. But 2, when they go to Hawaii, you could argue of the 3 with Daniel LaRusso is the worst of the 3. But I thought they were the strongest episodes of the season, and a lot of that had to do because they used a lot of scenes with Mr. Miyagi, and it was a lot of that whole 2 episode arc was about him trying to get back in touch with like his Miyagi-ness, which went on to prove that the most important character to the entire story of the Karate Kid and all of this overarching stuff is still Mr. Miyagi. Still the most important character. He is absolutely the man. And even though we don't have him anymore, the little bits where they get to use him and reference him and talk about him are still the parts that like make you smile or like bring you the most joy or the deepest thoughts. And I just really think that says a lot to how great of a character was created in Mr. Miyagi and in the performance that man gave.
I always think of that scene from Community when I don't know the
Jason
actor's name.
Mantzoukas.
Yeah, when he's
He
berating
explains that.
Annie.
Yeah. About how he was the most important character. And it's a beautiful take on the truth of that movie. And but like I said, I thought those were the strongest episodes. I was a little disappointed that Elizabeth Shue was just a cameo near the end. And they very clearly, the creators very
Uh,
clearly said that. Oh, no, this isn't spoiler because the creators very clearly before the season came out called her spot a cameo. They just didn't say what it was. And her whole character was just kind of a theme of moving on. I felt where it was like, yeah, the past is great and rekindling all this could be great, but like we're trying to build towards something better and a different story, and not to be like, I don't know, logged into the effect that Elizabeth Shue is amazing and just an absolute gem, and we don't need to focus on her being a part of whatever we have going forward.
Yeah, Elizabeth Shue has this like weird casual confidence that she exudes that just makes her so likable.
She's a gem.
But I have a lot of the same feelings that you have, although season 3, I feel like it could have been better, and a lot of the reasons are for what you said, but I'm so invested into the characters that I just want to keep watching their journey. I love any time that Danny LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence are fighting or they're friends. Like, just whenever they're together, it's great. It doesn't matter if they're fighting or not. I think they figured out a good way to continue that dynamic next season. That's all I'm going to say for spoiler purposes. Kid stuff is getting a little too cheesy, teeny boppery, CW-y at times, a little laughable. Like, oh, you're dating my boyfriend. Well, I'm mad at you because you dated my girlfriend. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of talk on there about how Robbie's story arc is really bad too.
yeah.
Like, if you had to nitpick one character, his story arc of the show was bad.
He's always got that stupid face too. He doesn't react in scenes.
Yeah, and this is the other thing. Like, I was trying to give a lot of younger actors excuses because they're younger actors, but when I looked further into it, most of them are in their early 20s. So I don't think they have excuses for being mid-tier actors.
One thing that one of the reasons that you said you like Cobra Kai is because of there's no real like bad, there's no real good.
Yeah, moral gray.
It's more morally gray. I enjoyed that as well because each character is dealing with different things, and that one's really right and that one's really wrong. But this season they have more of a clear villain. But I think how they got me was there's like one character who sometimes when you have villains and they're such good villains, they're still kind of cool and you like them, like Darth Vader or the Emperor or Sauron's cool because he's an evil wizard, but like it's not like you just flat out hate them because they're terrible, like Joffrey or Malfoy. Those villains, you don't like them.
Sauron, do you think he went to Hogwarts?
For sure he went to Hogwarts. So, obviously Slytherin.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Sauron is a warlock, which is different from a wizard, which is different from a sorcerer. Sorry. Anyway,
I'm just picturing Sauron getting his letter from.
Roll a d20 for damage.
Damn it. All right. I took 13. All right. Anyway,
13.
What's my point I was making? Oh yeah. So some characters you just hate, like Joffrey. Like everyone's happy when he dies. Like he's not cool.
I wasn't.
Well, you don't see a reason for why they're so.
Well, hold on. Let me finish my point.
Mean or bad.
I like Joffrey. He was the best.
So there's one character in particular. I don't want to even say the character. You'll see it because I don't want to spoil anything for Hummer. But one character is just a shit, and you hate him, and the whole time I'm like thinking this exact same example. Like he has no redeeming qualities. I hate this character. I'm not to the point where I don't even enjoy watching because I hate this character so much. And then they totally twisted it on its head and totally got me. And I'm like, I can't say anything because I don't want to be a spoiler.
If it's the character I'm assuming you're talking about, then that's because they're developing his character. You know, we're seeing they're not trying to excuse why he's doing why he's doing or giving you a reason, but they're developing why they're trying to get you to a place where you can understand psychologically why someone would act like that because of their past. So that's something that the Karate Kid movies never did, was build these other characters, because there wasn't their focus, but the show is getting to. And assuming it's the character you're talking about, there's a lot of really good statements made from the showrunners and creators of interviews that they did and the background stuff that they did to develop this character. And then characters because of who they teased for the 4th season. So there's a lot of grounded reality in what they've been building up, and like it's, but you still can identify it as an atrocity and how it could be psychologically damning. And so now you are starting to understand why a character is the way he is. It's not making him likable or making his decisions likable or justified, and there's a small part of you that gets it and either sympathizes or empathizes.
What did you think so far, Hummer?
So far, I mean, I haven't hit any. I had to stop listening to you guys because I was like,
I tried to play it cool and not ruin anything.
No, so far I'm enjoying it. So far, though, most of the story is really centering around, the adults. I haven't gotten too much into the story of the kids because Miguel's obviously in a coma.
Spoilers.
Maybe.
If you haven't watched any of it.
I don't know. Maybe he's in one. Maybe it's not. I don't know. So there hasn't really been too much to go through with the start of the. I haven't gotten to the part where the stories maybe get cheesy or not with the kids, but they were always kind of cheesy to begin with.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not like it's going to be new coming across like, oh my God, you're kissing my boyfriend and I'm gonna come to school and beat your ass. Like that was literally the main driver of where we are today.
That was basically my high school experience.
Yeah. How dare you? How dare you look at Amanda with those eyes? I will poke them out with my karate. So I mean, I'm enjoying it so far, but I'm assuming I will start binging it soon and just get it over with.
Just get it over with.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a great content to burn through rather than sitting on it. Keep it fresh, because like I said, you can talk about the low points of the show. It's still preying on the fact that you liked what they set up in the Karate Kid or what they set up in the previous 2 seasons. Still riding that for sure. And I thought the third season felt kind of slow at times. But it's because they're doing so much more development and world building within characters and trying to set up other things and rivalries. And they were trying to turn different things on its head and make 360 changes on stuff and reorganize and reshuffle, factions and things like that and relationships. So I that's why I expect a lot of more action from the 4th season.
Yeah, I'm still, even though everything that we just said, I'm still going to give it a 5 because it's so easy to watch. You could literally watch it in a day.
I just think it's overall good.
Yeah.
Like, you could point out negative things for anything, but I think overall it's light. It's good.
We're gonna get so much good content this year. We're gonna get good movies. We're gonna get TV shows. All the Marvel stuff's coming out. All the Star Wars TV shows out. 2021 is gonna be amazing. Goodbye 2020.
Everything's coming up Milhouse.
Everything is coming up Milhouse. That's all the time we have for you guys this week. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to check us out on timesyncpod.com. Hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking, and we will see you next week.